Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. How is everyone doing this evening? Good evening. I cannot see once again who is on. Renata, how are you doing? Love you. Good evening. How are you doing? How are you doing on this lovely, lovely Friday evening? Happy quarantine evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. How is everyone doing? Good evening, Tony. How are you doing, sis? Good evening. Is that Tweety on here? How are you doing? How are you doing, nephew? How are you doing, Corey? Love you. How are you doing, Tweety? I love you, niece. Where's Sharonda? Where's my sister? Tell her I love her. Who said they're exhausted? Renata, you exhausted? Ugh, I'm gonna be praying for you. Royale, thank you for joining. How are you doing, sir? Good evening, Bishop. How are you doing? Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is having an awesome Friday evening. Happy Friday, quarantine Friday, but yet it is a redefining Friday. Renata, I know you're exhausted, still working hard, as some of us are. I wanted to hop on here for a moment. I said, excuse me, I said I wasn't going to hop on here until tomorrow, which I still am, but I said, you know what? I'm still going to hop on here today because I said that's what I was going to do, and I'm going to keep my word no matter what. So I hopped right on here today. Hello, Ronnie. How are you? Thank you for hopping on. Hello, Deborah. Thank you for hopping on. So I just wanted to hop on here real quick. So today, this morning I was actually, hello, how are you doing, the great apostle? How are you doing? Happy belated birthday. Did I see it was your birthday as well? Happy belated birthday to you. So I was talking to, and it was not today, it was actually yesterday. See, pray my strength, partly my schedule and my children. Hello, Raheem. Good evening, sir. Thank you for joining. So I wanted to do a check in with everyone to see how everyone was doing during this time. And I hope you are checking in or you're on your loved ones as well. Your family, your friends, people that you love and care about, because rather people that you know whether their life has been affected. Hello, Ishmael. I pray I said that correctly. Hello, TR. How are you doing, niece? Love you. So, whether their life has been affected. Thank you. Thank you, Sharonda. I haven't even got a manicure. Hello, Sister Carol. How are you doing? Love you. Thank you for coming on. Hello, Terrence, my brother, y'all. That's my brother. Thank you for coming on. Love you, brother. How are you doing? You and the family. I hope you all have been checking on people, whether your lives have been affected. All of our lives have been affected one way or another. Hello, Monet. How are you doing? I love you. All of our lives have been affected one way or another, directly or indirectly. All of our lives have been affected. Hello, Christopher. How are you doing, sir? So take some time also during this pandemic to enjoy you, enjoy your family. I know the children are at home. I know they're ready to pull their hair out. If you have children, your hair out. But take some time to enjoy you. You know, I was talking to one of my spiritual brothers today. Good. And how's Mom Freddie doing as well? You look great during this quarantine, sir. Thank you very much, Bishop. I just keeping it moving like everyone else. You know, I was talking to one of my spiritual brothers today. He and I were communicating this morning. And, you know, we all know someone. You know, some people's lives were affected. You know, their livelihood as far as work. Some people's lives were affected in a negative way. Some people were not impacted. And we thank God for that. You know, for me in the healthcare field, I tell people whether it's in the medical healthcare field or in the mental arena, we are swamped either way. Hello, Doug. How are you doing, best friend? Love you. We are swamped really in both arenas, to be honest. The medical people on the front line, mental on the front line, because people are affected both ways. People are affected mentally because people's lives are flipped upside down. And you know, when you come in and you change the dynamics of people's lives, you know, sometimes a large percentage of us, we don't know how to handle change, right? And so it has been swamped for us, for whether we're in telehealth. For those of you that are familiar with telehealth, in our offices, in the clinics, it has been a busy time. And when I tell you busy time, I am up at 6:30 in the morning. Hello, Quincy. Thank you for joining, sir. Hello, Bonner. Thank you for joining. So I am up at 6 in the morning, some mornings, and up late at night. Whether online or logging in on the telephone, because I love helping people. I love what I do. That's why I got into the mental health field. And so I pray for those. Absolutely, Renata. It is extremely exhausting, mentally and physically, for those that have been affected by COVID-19. Hello, Elise. How are you doing, boo? You know, for those that have been affected by COVID-19 physically, and then people that have been affected mentally, because people's lives have been turned upside down. You know, approximately 16.8 million people have been filing for unemployment. And, you know, God forbid, if you're one of those people, you know, some of the systems have been crashing. I cannot tell you how many clients I have, whether they have been affected or family members have been affected. Sites have been crashing, and it's just been an aggravating moment. So people dealing with depression and anxiety issues and etc. And you have to talk them through, yet understanding the frustration, because everybody don't want to hear just pray your way through. Yeah, it's easy when it's not your money that's affected and your home that's affected. It's easy to say pray your way through, but people need practical tools. And so this is really a time. I mean, we say it as a cliche, but it's really a time where we have to band together as a people to help one another. And you know, I tell my best friend, because my best friend, he's an educator. And so he and I, we FaceTime and we talk, and I see his office is literally a classroom, right? Because they're teaching virtually. And I say, teachers, I mean, they are literally underpaid and underappreciated. And I just, not just for him, but also because my daughters, right? One of my daughters are in college. Hello, Gaither. Thank you for joining. Hello, Norman. I miss you too. I love you too. I can't wait till we can get back into church. Like one of my daughters, you know, is in college. And the other one, my other daughter, she's in 5th grade. So I see them on their laptops and working. And so teachers work hard. And I tell my best friend, hello, Sean, how are you doing, sir? Thank you for joining. So I see teachers working hard. So I tell my best friend all the time, like, you are doing it. Kudos to you because you are working hard. And so we have to do that check-in. And I pray for him. I pray for him because when we're FaceTiming, I'm telling you, I see his home office and I see the posters hanging up. And I see what he puts in and what he gives to his students. And I see what my daughters, what my oldest daughter, what her instructors give to her, and what my youngest daughter, what her instructors give to her. And I appreciate it. And so we have to make sure to cover one another. It's imperative that we do so, that we cover one another during this time. But as I also said, hello, Marquel, how are you doing? Thank you for joining. I'm certainly doing, trust me, Doug, I'm certainly doing so. Hello, James. Hello, Miss V. How are you doing? Thank you both for joining. But as I also said, this is also a time where it's a moment of empowerment. That also it is a time of transition where our lives have been changed. Yes, baby. Not right now. You interrupted me for that.
Exactly.
Later. I'll let you know.
You said later.
No, you just was able to get back on it today. So that is a perk.
We'll
talk about it later. So, hello, Summers. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. Yes, James. Good to see you on here. See, little mama always has to interrupt for the smallest things. But although it's a moment of transition, it's also a moment of empowerment because I believe it has taken a moment for us to kind of check ourselves. And I said this on a previous live, Renata, I'm telling you, that's my little mama. I love her. That's my baby. Because even for those of us that have stocks and, whether you are proficient in your knowledge, in stocks and investments and etc. And for those of us that may have stocks and etc., we have a little bit of knowledge or whatever, even, that went down. And so if we had 401k, oh hell, I don't want to talk about that. That went down. And so it made us all reevaluate some things for when a pandemic, because it will. Anytime man is in control, something will take place. Hello, Greg. Thank you for joining. So anytime something takes place, when something takes place, it allows us, we have these moments to where we're able to reevaluate, to say, what will I do differently next time, even if we're not struggling now. And some people are struggling now. And this is a time to where we're able to reach out and give a hand to someone in love to say, what can I do for you? How can I be a service to you? Hello, Lawrence. Thank you for joining. How are you, sir? Whatever it may be, whether it's us assisting someone with groceries, assisting someone with toilet paper. I know someone who could not get toilet paper. They were searching for toilet paper. I happened to be able to get some toilet paper at my Walmart. So I was able to assist them. So I just messaged them and was like, while I'm here, what other few items, might you need? And I just got it because I was in a position to do so. And not that I'm wealthy. Please, not yet. On my way. Don't make me break out in a tongue language because I will do it. But just to reach a hand, right? Because that's how we are able to receive. And so this is a time to where if you're in a position to assist in whatever manner, and if it's not monetary assistance, if it's knowledge, whatever wisdom you're able to give to someone. But this is a time to where every one of us, not just some of us, every one of us are able to need to be in a position to sit back and say, how can I be better? Because a life is always evolving. Hello, Chanel. How are you doing, boo? Love you. Thank you for joining. Life is always evolving. So every one of us should take a moment to pause, right? Every one of us should take a moment to pause and say, how can I be better after this? And not only after this, thank you. How can I be better while I'm in it? So that after this, I'm already prepared to execute the things that I need to execute. Hello, Madeline. Thank you for joining. So that I can execute the things that I need to execute. So let's do a checkup. Let's do a check-in with those that are around us, and also a self-check-in, because self-care is so imperative. So let's make sure that those around us are good, but let's make sure that we're good. Let's make sure that we're prepared, because we want to make sure that depression doesn't set in on us and anxiety doesn't set in on us, because it has no name. It doesn't have, it doesn't care about your economic status. We need to make sure it does not care what your race, your color is. We need to make sure that we're good and that people around us are good. It's very imperative. So do a redefining check. Hello, Jason. Thank you for joining, sir. So do a redefining check for those that are around you and also within yourself. What can I do to be better while I'm in it? And that when I get out of it, I'm prepared to execute the plan that I created while I was in it. Because let's just be honest, all of our wheels have started turning while we're in it. Hello, Johnny. How are you? Thank you for joining, sir. All of our wheels have started turning while we are in this pandemic. In some form or fashion, our wheels have begun to turn, right? And so while our wheels are turning, let's begin to think productive. You know, it's easy for our minds to begin to focus on the negative and focus on what's wrong and what could go wrong and what will go wrong and how it will not change, because we already know that what was normal will no longer be normal. So now we can put that narrative behind us. Hello, Richie. How are you doing, sir? I'm glad you're blessed. So we can put that narrative behind us, because we know that we will be approaching a new normal. So now that we know that that is something that we will be facing, let's begin to create a plan. Hello, Rochelle. Thank you for joining. How are you? Let's begin to create a plan. So what will be the plan while I'm in it so that I can execute it when I get out of this? Because the pandemic will not be always. We're not going to be in this always, but we will be approaching a new normal. So what will I empower myself? Because only I can do it. What will I empower myself to walk into? So what have I been purposed to do? What have I been called to do? Hello, cousin. How are you doing, Ollie? Hello, Fillmore. I love you, cousin. Thank you for coming on. Hello, Fillmore. Thank you for joining. So what have I been purposed to do? What have I been called to do? What have I procrastinated in doing? What has fear kept me from doing? Hello, Johnny. Thank you for joining. What has fear kept me from doing? Because sometimes we've allowed fear to paralyze us from doing things. And fear can be something or someone. So what has been that monster in your life, that giant that we have been afraid to conquer because we didn't know if we could do it, because of the fear of the unknown, the fear of conquering the challenge? Can I defeat this? Can I beat this? Can I win? Well, now we're in that time, because we've made it through. We've made it through. And so now, where do I go from here? So now fear can no longer be my guide. I'm in it. I've made it through the worst of it. So now I can no longer, because I realize God didn't give me the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. So I cannot operate in sanity and in insanity at the same time, because a double-minded man we know is unstable in all of his ways. So I can't be sane and insane at the same time. It can't function at the same time. That's just not reality. And if you believe that that's reality, that, my friend, is a mental illness. Let me just put that pin right there. That is a mental illness. If you believe that you can be sane and insane at the same time, and that is your reality, that is a mental illness. And then you need to talk to me off of this live if you believe that is your reality. Because that, my friend, is not reality. Cannot. It is impossible. It is impossible to be sane and insane at the same time. It is impossible. And I don't talk to nobody else and ask them if you can, because you absolutely cannot. Trust me. Cannot. So I really wanted to do a check-in tonight, to check in with you and to see if you have checked in with someone else, to see how they're doing. You know, I spoke to my grandmother. My grandmother is in her 90s. I thank God, because she still has use of all of her limbs. That's the apple of my eye. She has use of all of her limbs. She's able to move around on her own. So I ask her, the same questions. Do you feel differently? Are you staying in the house? Are you doing what you're supposed to do? And et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, I check up on her to make sure, during this time. So she's just one of the people that I check in on. And of course, she's checking on me because she knows I'm still going out there. I'm still working. Hello, Destiny. How are you doing? Thank you for coming on. And of course, she checks up on me because she knows I'm still out there. She knows I'm in the clinics. She knows I'm at the office. She knows, I'm still, because I'm one of those essential workers. So she knows I'm not just able to sit at home. I'm still out there, but I'm taking the proper precautions that I need to take, right? Because, I clearly want to live and I want to remain healthy. And so I'm taking the proper precautions, being in the healthcare field, that I need to do. But even me, I'm still doing self check-ins because I know that I'm called to something bigger than this. Like, you cannot think that this is where I want to stop. Like, I hope none of you that have been connected to me and have known me, good, I'm glad you're well, Destiny, another entrepreneur on here. For any of you that have known me, I hope you did not think like this is it for me. Like, oh, this is where he wants to stop. Hello, Jean, my sister. I love you. How are you doing? That's my sister, y'all. I hope you did not think like this is it. This is not even it for me. I thank God for where I am and the movement and the blessings, but this is not it for me. When I tell you, like, there has been some pitfalls along the way. I'm glad you're good. I'm glad you're good. Thank you, sis. I'm glad you're good, sister. Love you. There's been pitfalls along the way, and I'm grateful for where God has taken me. But I'm not done yet. Like, there's visions I've had for years, and I'm not about to stop. And I have a plan. Like, I literally have a plan written out. Like, I'm 40 now. I have a plan. Like, before I'm 45, I want to be this wealthy. I want this. I want my family to have this. Like, I remember visions from 10 years ago of this is God, and this may not have worked out. But God, you are the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. So although the plan did not work out with them, your power didn't change. So now give me the wisdom See, the wisdom, the knowledge doesn't change because we perish because of lack of knowledge. So just because some people might be removed. Hello, Arthur. Thank you for joining. Wisdom. And every day when I talk to God, God continue to give me your wisdom. I never want to leave the path of wisdom. I want to continue to be filled with wisdom. And I understand that success takes sacrifice. And when I talk to my daughters, when I talk to them, that's why I tell you all, I am respectfully transparent with my daughters. I'm respectfully transparent with them. I talk to them about my mistakes, especially my college daughter. Oh my gosh, because she loves money. So I'm respectfully transparent about the mistakes that I've made, the things that I've done. So when she sees now and I show her things about my investment accounts and I show her and I tell her, and when I get on a conference call to my financial manager, I want her to hear the different definitions and about when I'm moving money or when he's moving money. How are you doing, Michelle? How are you? When he's suggesting, Jesse, I think you should move this money over here, or I think you should invest into this, or I'm going to invest into that. I want her to hear that, and I want her to hear a little bit, and why? Because I want her to understand the importance, and I let her know, you're going to make mistakes. You're only 19. Not saying you're not going to make mistakes, but if I can help with some of those pitfalls, that's what our job is. Whether you are a biological parent, a godparent, an aunt, an uncle, whatever your position is, we can help with some of those pitfalls because some of us didn't have some of those examples in our lives. And so when we get that knowledge, it's our job to deposit, yet realizing mistakes are still going to be made because they're human, but we can help with some of those pitfalls. That's the importance. But again, check in with some of those that are around you, but do a self-check-in with yourself. Take this time to empower yourself. And I tell people all the time, especially Christians, it is a slap in God's face when you say that you serve God and you believe God, but yet you live in fear. It is a slap in God's face. It's a slap in his face to serve him and live in fear. And the most courageous move that we can make is to dig within ourselves and to say, you know what do I need to do? What is my responsibility? What's my fault? What's my responsibility? So during this time of quarantine, during this time that you might be bored and flipping the channels and turning back and forth to Netflix. Hello, Andrew. How are you? Thank you for joining, sir. During this time, you might be flipping back and forth to Netflix. This may be the time to say, you know, what is my fault? I was telling, one of my single clients, I was telling him, he wants a partner extremely bad. And I was telling him, I understand it. It was so funny because he was saying, Dr. Jesse, I don't think you understand. Hello, Martin. Thank you for joining, sir. He told me, Dr. Jesse, I don't think you understand because, you have your career and, you have your children. I said, what does that, fool? What does that mean? I'm not a pedophile. 2, I don't want to sleep with my children. Of course, hello, Chip. How are you? Thank you for joining. I don't want to sleep with my children. Of course, I want a partner. And so, yes, I understand what you're saying. But you need to work on some things. So if you don't focus so hard on the partner, but the things you need to work on, the partnership, it might flow a little bit easier. And I'm not saying don't desire a partner, but begin to dig within yourself on the things that you need to work on. And the partnership might flow a little bit easier. And again, I'm not saying just sit at home and just wait on, well, now you got to sit at home. But begin to work on yourself as well. Begin to dig because sometimes you desire some things that you don't possess. That's hypocritical. So I just had to help them a little bit, because sometimes, I have to check some people. Like, what you mean I don't? What? Oh, I will slap you. Are you serious? Because sometimes that is the hardest part for people, to dig within themselves. It's easier for people to confront other people. But when it's self-confrontation, when I have to confront myself and begin to dig, and this is the best time to have self-empowerment. Renata said you can't have faith in fear. Absolutely. And it is a slap in God's face to serve him and to love him, but not want to confront yourself. And this is one of the best times. And again, we're all dealing with the pain and of the shifting of this pandemic. And so we're all dealing with that. We're all dealing with the shifting of this transition of this pandemic. But on the flip side of the coin, it's also a moment of empowerment to say, you know what? If I've been dealing with fear, what practical steps can I take to deal with that giant? If I have some of the spirit of procrastination, what have I been called to do? And what practical steps can I take to deal with that spirit of procrastination? Hello, Stephanie. How are you? Thank you for joining. So whatever I've been dealing with or whatever I need to face and deal with, this is a perfect moment. And if you cannot do it on your own, and I always encourage people, you always hear me say, get an accountability partner. You should, because that assists us in the process. Hello, Yolanda. Thank you for joining. So do a check-in. Hello, Pete. Thank you for joining. Do a check-in with the people that are around you to help people do a redefining checkup. Redefining, transforming. This is one of the best times. Again, we're all dealing with the shaking, the shifting of this transition in the pandemic. But on the flip side, it's a moment of empowerment. So after we get past of the pain of the pandemic, the initial shock, right? Because the initial shock does not stay there forever. So after I get through this initial shock, we have to get to the what's next. What's next for me? I've even made a list of things of what's next for Jesse. What's next for me in my practice? What's next for me in my personal life? What's next? We have to begin to create that strategic plan so that I can begin to execute. So I challenge each and every one of you that desire to do it, get an accountability partner, check in on those that surround you, and then do a self-checkup and ask yourself, what is next? Not only for myself, but for those that are under my roof. What's next? All right? I love you all. I will see you tomorrow again on the live. Have a great Redefining Friday. Make the best of it. And ask yourself tonight when you get off of this live, what is next for you? All right? So again, do a redefining checkup on all those that you're connected to, and then do one on yourself. Don't allow yourself to be captured by fear, to allow yourself to be captured by depression or anxiety. And if you do, get the assistance that you need, because it is okay. It is okay. And I do not say that because I am in the mental health care field. I say it because it is so. But ask yourself what is next for you. All right? I love you all. Have a great Redefining Friday. Thank you very much, James. All right. Have a good night.